Trade and teen self-harm, adolescent self-harm is a very major, very prevalent problem, very challenging and prevalent difficulty. And we were interested to find out, to see what role TRADI might play in that context. And you can see on the left-hand side, this was a paper published in 2009, British Journal of Health Psychology. The overall correlation between TRADI and self-harm was -31. minus 0.31. There was a subsample of adolescents who had actually experienced suicide ideation, I believe, and if you excluded this from the overall sample, this correlation dropped to minus 0.25. So the correlations inside the square brackets here concern the sample minus the suicide ideation subsample. And the correlations outside are the correlations calculated on the overall sample. I'm not sure if it was suicide ideation or suicide attempts, actually. It might even be more serious. So yeah, just check the original paper and find out exactly what that subsample was. But we tried to look into possible mechanisms linking trait emotional intelligence to self-harm, and the one that we identified was this pathway here through maladaptive coping. Now, when we are stressed out and when we are faced with challenges in life, there are adaptive and maladaptive, helpful and unhelpful strategies that we can actually use in order to deal with these challenges. And what we found out in this particular study was that adolescents with high TRADI scores or adolescents with low TRADI scores were more likely to use maladaptive coping styles to deal with challenges. In other words, adolescents with high TRADI scores were less likely to use maladaptive coping styles, more likely to use adaptive coping styles, whereas adolescents with low TRADI scores were more likely to use maladaptive, to rely on maladaptive coping styles, and less likely to rely on adaptive coping styles. So two maladaptive coping styles that I am depicting in this graph here are emotional coping, where we actually throw a tantrum, for example, become very emotional, very angry sometimes, and avoidant coping, which is the coping that leads you to bury your head in the sand like an ostrich and hope that the problem is going to go away on its own. Both of them are maladaptive, eventually and potentially harmful coping strategies. Both of them are negatively related to TRADI. But what is interesting to see is that emotional coping then is also is positively related to self-harm. Because self-harm, if you think about it and if you analyze the precursors, the antecedents and consequences of self-harm, then you see that self-harm is itself a coping strategy. So individuals, particularly adolescents, engage in self-harm as a coping strategy because they can't deal with the emotional and situational pressure they are being called to face. So self-harm is itself a negative coping strategy, which I should also say that this pathway continues into the right, because individuals or adolescents and individuals more generally who self-harm are more likely to engage in suicide ideation, and those who are more likely to engage in suicide ideation are more likely to attempt suicide, and a small percentage of them are unfortunately successful. So it's a long pathway whose beginnings lie in low trait emotional intelligence. And we have obtained similar or supporting results, complementary results in other clinical psychotherapeutic research we have carried out since then, showing the devastating effects of negative emotional perceptions. To have a negative emotional perceptions, negative thinking, depressed kind of thinking, self-doubting, these undermining chain of thoughts and cognitions has a devastating effect in the general psychology and achievement patterns in somebody's life. So the emotional perceptions that we hold about ourselves are very, very fundamental in terms of how we will experience and what we will experience in our everyday reality.